Fisher Electronics, a great contributor to the development of hi-fi and stereo, was founded in 1945 by Avery Fisher in New York. The company quickly established itself as a serious manufacturer of high-quality audio equipment. Even the company's first products, such as radios and amplifiers, were recognized for their high sound quality and reliability. Avery Robert Fisher was born on the 4th of March 1906 in Brooklyn, New York. He was the youngest of 6 children in a Jewish family whose parents emigrated from Kiev 3 years before Avery's birth. From childhood, Avery showed an interest in music, as music was an important tradition in his family. The future engineer and entrepreneur attended DeWitt Clinton High School and then graduated from New York University. Fisher graduated in 1929 with a Bachelor of Science degree in engineering. After graduation, Avery worked at the publishing house Dodd Mead & Company, where he produced books. At the same time, he began experimenting with audio. Fisher dreamed of developing a radio that sounded as if a live orchestra was playing indoors. His passion for music and sound led him to start his own audio engineering business. In 1937, Fisher founded the Philharmonic Radio Company, which later evolved into a new company that eventually became Fisher Electronics. Fisher was originally called Fisher Radio Corporation, but to most fans of the firm, the names Fisher Radio Corporation and Fisher Electronics are simply Fisher or the Fisher. The first truly successful products of the company, which became the basis for the Fisher technology principles, were the Fisher TA-500 radio receiver of 1957 and the TA-600 stereo radio receiver of 1958. The company fundamentally built these devices with the highest quality elements to show the world its craftsmanship and vision of what hi-fi should sound like. Another of the first key products of the company's early period was the Fisher 500 amplifier with a built-in tuner. The model became the reference for innovation in the hi-fi industry in the second half of the 50s. The iconic Fisher 500 quickly gained popularity for its high sound quality, reliability, and compact, cohesive design. The company focused on the functionality of the new product. The tuner and amplifier in one case were presented as an ideal basis for a home music system. In the advertising brochure of 1957, the company called Fisher 500 a hi-fi product, which, by the way, once again confirms the presence of high-fidelity products and the very concept of hi-fi in those years. Another important exemplary product of those years was the Fisher FM 200 receiver. This model is considered to be an almost perfect tuner for the period when hi-fi as we know it began to appear in the USA. In the early 60s, Fisher management decided that the industry needed a change, and to improve the quality of products it was decided to move to the manufacture of individual components, which no longer combined several devices in one cabinet. In 1961, when the FM 200 was introduced in its first version, the manufacturer claimed that the unit was the world's most accurate tuner, which would start a revolution in the world of audio engineering. Partly these claims were justified. Many industry experts to this day consider the FM 200 to be the most successful radio receiver of the early 60s. It is worth noting that the accuracy and top quality of Fisher's equipment is primarily the merit of Avery Fisher himself. The engineer paid great attention to detail and strove for perfection in every aspect of production. Avery was personally involved in the development and testing of each new product to ensure that it met the firm's high standards. One of the landmark events in the company's history was participation in the 1964 World's Fair in New York, where Fisher Electronics presented its latest developments and won many awards for innovation in the field of audio. During this period, the company also began working with leading music artists and recording studios. After the success in the domestic American market, Fisher Electronics began to enter the international market, launching product supplies to Europe, Asia, and other regions. In the second half of the 60s, the company had already opened several representative offices and distribution centers in different countries. This allowed the firm to significantly expand its customer base and strengthen its position in the industry. Growing rapidly and confirming its serious intentions, the Avery Fisher Company decided to demonstrate to experts and amateurs its capabilities not only in building components, but also in acoustics. The XP-18 loudspeaker of 1968 was the pinnacle of the company's craftsmanship. The manufacturer stated that this speaker represents the most accurate and high-quality product in history in the category of home speakers. Many people even nowadays consider XP-18 one of the most interesting audiophile systems of that era. Also in the 60s, the company was actively developing transistor amplifiers and receivers, as the abandonment of tubes was inevitable. Important transistor models were the Fisher 400T receiver and the TX200 amplifier. By the end of the 1960s, Fisher Electronics had produced an impressive number of different high-class devices. Some models significantly exceeded the standards of the time. However, despite the success of the company and its reputation, in 1969 the founder of the company, Avery Fisher, decided to make a big change. Emerson Electric offered Fisher a deal in which Fisher Electronics was to be taken over by Emerson, and Avery Fisher was to become a consultant. In the end, Fisher agreed, as the offer was very favorable. According to different sources, Emerson paid from $30 to $40 million for the Fisher brand, which was a very large amount of money in those days. After the acquisition, Emerson Electric continued to develop and expand the Fisher product line, including such well-known models as the FM series tuners and various 500 series receivers. The company also began manufacturing components for professional audio equipment during this period. Avery Fisher spent 5 years as a consultant to Emerson Electric's management team. After that, he became a philanthropist, later becoming a well-known and respected patron of the arts who did a lot for the development of academic music in the United States. The 70s were another new starting point for Fisher. The changes that occurred then changed the history of the brand so dramatically that today many people remember Fisher as the company it became in the mid-70s. And before we get to that turning point here, I'm going to ask you to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you, and now let's get on with it. In 1975, Emerson Electric decided to sell Fisher to the global conglomerate Sanyo Electric. This Japanese giant did not give up on the development of the brand and continued to produce high-quality Fisher audio equipment. Despite the move to Japan, the company's products continued to be popular among audiophiles from all over the world. It should be noted that Sanyo made large investments in the development of technology and expansion of Fisher's production facilities, which allowed the brand to remain competitive in the market. In the 1980s, Fisher Electronics introduced a number of new models created at Sanyo's facilities. A good example of Fisher equipment of those years is the Fisher 9000 multi-component system. The set included an amplifier, a cassette deck, a record player, a tuner, a control unit and a module for remote control. The model was renowned for its advanced features and good sound quality. Among other things, Sanyo produced under the Fisher brand tape recorders, disc players, receivers, and later even multi-channel systems with processor control. In one form or another, Fisher products were on the market until the late 90s, but in 2000, on the threshold of a new era of compact digital audio and home cinema, Sanyo decided to abandon the brand Fisher. Management renamed the entire Fisher product line to Sanyo, which essentially meant the end of the Fisher brand as a separate company. Some Fisher fans believe that the company's legacy is partially preserved in the products of Panasonic, which acquired Sanyo in 2011. However, there are those who believe that the true Fisher story ended in 1975 after the deal with Sanyo and the renaming of the Fisher brand to simply Fisher. Despite different points of view, Fisher's contribution to the development of the hi-fi industry and music in general is difficult to overestimate. The company's founder Avery Fisher is known not only for his company, but also for other activities. In '74, for example, Fisher donated several hundreds of thousands of dollars to restore and modernize the concert hall at Lincoln Center in New York, which was later renamed Avery Fisher Hall. This hall has become one of the premier concert spaces in the world. Fisher Electronics had a huge impact on popularizing the concept of home audio and stereo systems. The products of this particular manufacturer allowed many people to accept the concept of quality sound in their homes. Among the partners of Fisher Electronics were many famous personalities including politicians, musicians, and actors. The company has worked with such stars as Frank Sinatra, Elvis Presley, and Judy Garland, providing them with audio equipment for concert performances and album recording. In addition, Fisher Electronics was involved in several major projects in its day, including equipping concert halls, recording studios, and radio stations with audio systems. Company founder Avery Robert Fisher died in 1994 at the age of 87 at New Milford Hospital in Connecticut. Avery Fisher Hall was renamed David Geffen Hall in 2015 in honor of another philanthropist, but Fisher's memory is still preserved through the Avery Fisher Award project. This is an award given to American academic music performers for extraordinary achievements. The award was founded in 1974 by Fisher himself, and the initiative is still maintained today as part of the Avery Fisher Artist Program, a special project run by Lincoln Center. Well, that's the end of the Fisher story. Thank you all for watching. I remind you that you can like, subscribe, click the thank you button under the video to support the channel financially or even become a sponsor. Thank you all and see you next time.